Okay, let's talk about something that's on a lot of people's minds right now. It's January 2026, and if you're one of the nearly 75 million Americans getting a Social Security check, you're probably asking the same question. What is really going on with my payment this year? Now, on the surface, there's some good news. But, when you start to peel back the layers and look at the fine print, well, the story gets a whole lot more complicated. So today, we're going to break it all down. We're going to look at exactly what these new rules mean for your wallet, and this is the important part, what you can actually do about it. All right, let's get into it. So here's what we're going to cover in this explainer. First up, we're going to dive into what I'm calling the COLA mirage and figure out why that raise you heard about isn't quite what it seems. Then we'll talk about that feeling of running on the treadmill thanks to a bunch of hidden costs. After that, we are going to tackle a huge topic, the high cost of waiting. This is about the single most critical retirement decision you'll ever make. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with your financial game plan, giving you some clear, actionable steps to really take control of your future. All right, so let's start with the big headline, right? The number everybody's talking about. The government announced a cost of living adjustment, or COLA, and on paper, it looks like a nice little raise. But, and this is a big but, it's kind of like a mirage in the desert. It looks great from a distance, but as you get closer, you realize what you're promised and what you actually get to keep in your pocket are two very, very different things. So, the official number for the 2026 COLA, it's 2.8%. For the average retiree, that's going to translate to about a $56 increase in their monthly check. Now look, an extra $56 a month, that sounds okay, right? It's not going to change your life, but hey, it's something. The problem is, this number doesn't exist in a vacuum. Before that money even has a chance to hit your bank account, another hand is already reaching out to grab a piece of it. And this slide right here, this shows you the catch perfectly. On one side, your Social Security benefit goes up by that $56. But on the other side, your Medicare Part B premium also went up by about $17.90 a month. And for most folks, this gets deducted automatically, right out of your Social Security check. It's like your boss gives you a raise with one hand, but the other hand is already taking some of it back. You see the big, flashy, gross number, but the net reality is, well, it's a lot less exciting. So when you do the math, what are you left with? After that Medicare Part B premium gets taken out, your $56 raise has shrunk all the way down to just $38.10, not even $40. And that's before we even start talking about the real inflation you're actually facing at the grocery store or the gas pump. See, the government calculates COLA using an index that tracks how urban workers spend money. But retirees, you spend your money differently, way more on things like healthcare, prescriptions, housing. And those costs are often going up much, much faster than the official inflation rate. So the key thing to realize here is that this tiny net increase is already losing the race against your actual expenses. And you know what's really fascinating, or maybe frustrating, is that the Medicare premium, that's just the tip of the iceberg. It's just the beginning of the story. There are a whole bunch of other financial changes happening in 2026 that act like little anchors, just weighing down your finances. It's what makes it feel like you're running on a treadmill that just keeps getting faster and faster, and you're just trying to keep from falling off. So let's see how this all adds up. Just take a look at this list. Each of these numbers represents another potential hit to your bottom line. Your Medicare Part A deductible for a hospital stay, it's now over $1,700. The earnings limit if you're working before your full retirement age, it's $24,480. And get this, the income thresholds for when your Social Security benefits become taxable, those haven't changed in decades. So every single year, more and more people are getting pulled into paying taxes on their Social Security. Your full retirement age is now officially 67 for anyone born in 1960 or later. And even the amount you need to earn to get one work credit, that's gone up too. It's not one big thing, it's a series of small changes that add up to a really big financial squeeze. And to really put that Part A deductible into perspective, just think about this for a second. Your total COLA raise for the entire year is $56 times 12, that's $672. The hospital deductible is $1,736. You see the problem? A single trip to the hospital, one admission, and it completely wipes out your raise for the whole year and then some. One unexpected health problem and you are financially worse off than you were last year, even with a so-called cost of living adjustment. That's not security, that's just trying to keep your head above water. Okay, and let's quickly talk about this earnings test, because this trips up so many people who are just trying to make ends meet. If you decide to claim your benefits before you reach your full retirement age, but you keep working, There's a limit to how much you can earn. For 2026, that magic number is $24,480. Here's the kicker. For every $2 you earn above that limit, the Social Security Administration holds back $1 of your benefits. It's basically a penalty for trying to supplement your income, and trust me, it can be a really nasty surprise if you're not planning for it. You know, all of this, it really brings us to what is, without a doubt, the single most important and financially powerful decision you will ever make for your retirement. And that is, when do you claim your Social Security benefits? It's a choice that has consequences that will last for the rest of your life, and the financial trade-offs, honestly, they're just staggering. Now, to really get this, you have to understand that the goalpost has been moving for decades. See, back in the 80s, Congress realized Social Security was heading for a financial cliff, so they made a change to gradually increase the full retirement age, or FRA. For our parents and grandparents, it was 65 or 66. But for anyone born in 1960 or later, that age has now officially landed at 67. And what that means for you is simple. You have to wait longer than previous generations did to get 100% of your benefit. Now, just look at this chart. It lays out the trade-off perfectly. You can start getting checks as early as age 62, but as you can see, that benefit is permanently slashed by a full 30% if your FRA is 67. A 30% haircut for life. If you wait until your full retirement age 67, you get 100% of what you're owed. But, and this is where it gets really interesting, if you have the ability to delay even longer, all the way to age 70, your benefit actually grows. It increases by about 8% for every single year you wait past your FRA, which leads to a max benefit that is 24% higher than your full amount. Let's put some real hard numbers to this, using the maximum benefit estimates for 2026. If you claim at 62, you're looking at around $2,900 a month. Wait until 67, and that number jumps to over $4,100. And if you can manage to hold out until you're 70, it's over $5,100 a month. Now look at the annual difference there. That's almost $15,000 more per year just by waiting from 62 to 67, and another $12,000 on top of that if you can make it to 70. Over a 20-year retirement, we are talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars just left on the table by claiming early. It's a huge, huge difference. So why would anyone take the early option and give up that much money? Well, the most common reason you hear is, what if I don't live that long? And look, that's a valid concern. Nobody knows the future. But it's a gamble. It's a bet on your own lifespan. And this quote from financial expert Dave Ramsey, it just hits the nail on the head. Plan for longevity and hope you're right. Because if you plan to die early and you're wrong, you're going to spend your 80s and 90s broke. The risk of outliving your money in your final years, that is a terrible, terrible price to pay for getting your benefits just a few years earlier. Okay, I know we've laid out a lot of the problems. A COLA that doesn't keep up, all these hidden costs, this huge, high-stakes claiming decision. It can definitely feel a bit overwhelming. But here's the good news. You are not powerless. You can take control. This isn't about being scared. It's about being smart and being intentional. So let's shift gears now from the problems to the solutions. Let's talk about a clear, actionable game plan. Here are 5 essential steps that every single person listening should take. Number 1, check your deposit. Seriously. Mistakes can and do happen, so make sure your new COLA adjustment is actually correct. 2, understand your premiums. Know exactly what's being taken out from Medicare and why. 3, if you're still working, you have to know your earnings limit inside and out to avoid any of those nasty clawbacks. 4, and this is the big one, create a real, thought-out claiming strategy. Don't just stumble into taking it at 62. Run the numbers, think about your health, consider your spouse. And finally, number 5, and this is absolutely critical, build other savings. And that last point really brings us to the single most important takeaway from all of this. Social Security was never, ever designed to be your only source of income in retirement. It was created as a safety net, a supplement, a foundation that you're supposed to build upon. But it is not a full pension. To have a truly secure retirement, you have to have other streams of income, whether it's from a 401k, an IRA, or other investments. Trying to rely only on this one government check, that is not a plan for success. It's a recipe for stress. So we'll leave you with this one final question to think about. Is your retirement built on a solid plan, or is it just built on hope? The rules are getting more complex, and the costs are definitely rising. But understanding them, that's the first step to taking control. Because at the end of the day, hope is not a strategy. An intentional plan based on the facts and a clear understanding of your own life is what will ultimately create the retirement you can actually enjoy with security and with dignity. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.